Somehow this has become routine. The reporting is routine. My response here at this podium ends up being routine. The conversation in the aftermath of it, we've become numb to this. There has been a tragic shooting at the Fort Hood Army base in Texas. A number of American soldiers have been killed, and even more have been wounded in a horrific outburst of violence. Earlier today, a number of people were shot in Tucson, Arizona, including several who were meeting at a supermarket with their Congresswoman, Gabrielle Giffords. I ask all Americans to join me and Mashable in keeping all the victims and their families, including Gabby, in our thoughts and prayers. We may never understand what leads anybody to terrorize their fellow human beings like this. You know, such violence, such evil is senseless. It's beyond reason.
I think all of us recognize that these kinds of terrible, tragic events are happening with too much regularity.
I know there's not a parent in America who doesn't feel the same overwhelming grief that I do. The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own. As a country, we have been through this too many times, and we're going to have to come together and take meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this, regardless of the politics. Several people have been shot and some have been killed. So we are confronting yet another mass shooting. And today it happened on a military installation in our nation's capital. And obviously we're going to be investigating thoroughly what happened, as we do so many of these shootings, sadly, that have happened, and do everything that we can to try to prevent them. You know, any shooting is troubling. Obviously, this reopens the pain of what happened at Fort Hood 5 years ago. Gunmen opened fire at 2 Jewish facilities, a community center and a retirement home. Innocent people were killed. Their families were devastated. As Americans, we not only need to open our hearts to the families of the victims, we've got to stand united against this kind of terrible violence which has no place in our society. To say our thoughts and prayers are with them and their families and their community doesn't say enough to convey the heartache and the sadness and the anger that we feel. I've had to make statements like this too many times. Communities like this have had to endure tragedies like this too many times. Once again, innocent people were killed in part because someone who wanted to inflict harm had no trouble getting their hands on a gun. The deepest sympathies of the American people to the 4 Marines that have been killed. It is a heartbreaking circumstance for these individuals who have served our country with great valor to be killed in this fashion. Somebody somewhere will comment and say, Obama politicized this issue. Well, this is something we should politicize. It is relevant to our common life together, to the body politic. This is a political choice that we make. To allow this to happen every few months in America. We collectively are answerable to those families who lose their loved ones because of our inaction.